Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take stacks of sources, articles, research notes, and basically pull out the most important bits of knowledge and insight for you.
Right. The goal is to help you get really well informed, fast, maybe find some surprising things along the way.
And today, we're heading into some, well, pretty dark territory. It's a journey into, you could say, the core of human darkness, guided by Christopher Berry-Dee's book, Talking with Serial Killers.
Yeah, Christopher Berry-Dee, he's deeply experienced in this. A former Royal Marine Intelligence officer who became a criminologist.
And he's known for these incredibly in-depth interviews, right, with like over 30 serial killers.
Exactly. And what makes this book so powerful is it uses direct transcripts from audio, from videotapes recorded right inside high-security prisons.
So you're hearing it directly from them.
You are, and it's not just about the crimes. It reveals these, well, horrific motivations and, honestly, a chilling lack of remorse, straight from the source.
Okay, so our mission today is clear. Unpack these accounts. We want to pull out the key insights into the criminal mind. Understand the patterns, the psychology involved.
And also think about the bigger picture, the societal implications of, such extreme behavior.
Right. This deep dive is basically your shortcut to getting informed on a topic that's, frankly, deeply unsettling, but also, pretty important to understand.
Definitely.
So let's start with two individuals. They really show this legacy of trauma and profound denial.
Okay, first up is Harvey Louis Carignan. Chief investigator Russell J. Pruger called him, and this description sticks, a monstrous individual.
Wow. Where did he come from?
Born in Fargo, North Dakota in 1927, his childhood was chaotic, shuffled between different caregivers, suffered abuse in a reform school.
You hear that pattern so often.
It is disturbingly common. Some think the abuse led to physical things, like a facial twitch he developed. And his path to murder, it actually started after an assault charge in Alaska in 1949, right after he'd been in the Army.
So military service, then immediately into violence. And it had escalated.
Oh, absolutely. Laura Showalter was his first known murder victim. That kicked off this cycle of crime, prison, release. He even did time in Alcatraz.
Alcatraz, okay.
Yeah. And what's really disturbing is after he got paroled in 1960, he just picked right back up. By the 70s, he had this modus operandi, sexual assault, violent murder.
Targeting specific groups.
Primarily young women, teenage girls, people like Kathy Sue Miller, Eileen Hunley. His method often involved a hammer, grievous head injuries, just brutal.
And Berry-Dee corresponded with him. What did that reveal?
It revealed this really complex, almost delusional personality. Carignan constantly denied full responsibility. He painted himself as a victim, full of resentment towards women.
Blaming his childhood.
Exactly. Claimed it all stemmed from the abuse. He actually said, and this is quite something, "I am not a rapist, and the word itself is so revolting it turns my stomach."
Seriously, after all that.
Seriously. And when Berry-Dee mentioned victim names, like Laura Showalter or Dorcas Callan, he'd just say, "Those names mean nothing to me." Complete dissociation.
The level of detachment, it's hard to wrap your head around, just actively rewriting reality.
It really is. And there's this weird contradiction, too. He'd brutally attack older women, but sometimes spare teenagers.
Any theories on that?
The sources suggest maybe the rage towards older women was tied to unresolved issues with his mother, but that core pattern denial, blaming others, blaming victims, it's powerful.
Yeah, we'll probably see that again. It makes you wonder how much is like actual pathology versus a conscious choice to just not take responsibility.
That's the core question, isn't it? This self-deception, this refusal to internalize what they've done. It's a hallmark of certain psychopathic traits, a way to escape accountability, even to themselves.
Right.
This whole thing makes me think of that Nietzsche quote. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster.
Yeah.
And when you look into an abyss, the abyss also looks into you.
That hits hard, especially when you're digging into material this dark. How do people who study this, or even us just discussing it, how do you maintain your own moral compass when facing that?
It takes conscious effort. For researchers, it's about objective distance, but still trying to understand the human or inhuman element.
Oh, great.
For society, maybe it's about understanding without becoming numb to the horror. It's a tough balance.
A really vital balance.
Right.
Okay, let's shift to Arthur John Shawcross, known as the Monster of the Rivers, imprisoned in New York, born 1945.
Shawcross, another one with a deeply troubled childhood. Lots of family issues, psychological problems from early on.
Like what specifically?
Feelings of alienation, he was bullied, but he also showed sadistic behavior himself, cruelty to animals, things like that from a young age.
Red flags?
Big ones. Psych evaluations mentioned mixed messages from his mother, a dad who was too lenient, fueled aggression, got him kicked out of school.
And then did it escalate like Carinians?
It did. Assault charge against a young boy at age 20. Then a problematic army stint, arson, theft. Got 5 years in prison for those.
Okay, so he served time.
He did. But here's the chilling part. He gets released in 1987, and bam, instantly becomes a serial killer. No gap.
Wow. Who are his victims?
Tragically vulnerable people, mostly women and children, like 10-year-old Jack Blake, 8-year-old Karen Hill.
Yep.
His methods were just horrific, luring them, often prostitutes or kids, strangulation, dismemberment, even cannibalism.
Cannibalism, too.
Yeah. He told Berry-Dee, because that's where I killed him. That's where the monster inside of me came out, and he came out down by the river pretty often, and then I eat meat. Uncooked meat.
Well,
I don't know why I ate parts of people, but I just did. Period.
Yeah. The sources mention some potential biological factors, XYY syndrome, cryptopyrroles.
They do. There's mention of possible XYY syndrome, which is a genetic condition, and elevated cryptopyrrole levels, a biochemical thing. Some researchers, theorize links between these and aggression, but
the science isn't settled.
not at all. It's complex. It shows we're still looking at biology alongside psychology and environment.
And did he try to justify this?
Oh, constantly. Bizarre rationalizations, blaming God, society rejecting him, even blaming the victims themselves. Again, that externalizing pattern.
And this connects to a system failure, right? He got out early.
Critically. Served only 14 years of a 25-year sentence. Why? Prison, overcrowding, flawed ideas about rehabilitation. And that decision directly enabled him to kill again. Many times.
It's just agonizing. A known predator released back into the community because of systemic issues. It forces that question. How do we balance rehabilitation, if it's even possible for some, with just basic public safety?
That's the nightmare scenario, isn't it? Shawcross is Exhibit A for the consequences of getting that balance wrong.
It is.
And blaming everyone else. It's that same thread of self-deception we saw before.
A consistent, terrifying thread. Okay, moving on.